Yesterday was the solar eclipse and nothing happened. All of these prophets of Jesus Christ, these pastors and ministers, now have to walk back their failed prophecies. They prophesied that it was the rapture, it was the return of Christ. They prophesied that the states experiencing totality, including my own state of New York, was going to face judgment, and none of those things happened. We are now 24 hours after the solar eclipse, and nothing has happened. But of course, we know that they will not walk back what they said. They will simply come up with an excuse, an explanation, some reason they pull out of the sky as to why their prophecy had failed, and then move on to the next thing. The next thing probably being the election. It was all fear mongering. It was all about clickbait. It was all about these prophets of Christ, these ministers and pastors creating fear so that people will sow a seed or give their church or ministry money to get a word from God to ease their fears. It was clickbait, and it was about sowing into their churches and ministries to hear a word from God. And they have no shame. They will not walk back, even though they should, because that's what mature people do. They admit when they are wrong, but they are not mature. They will move on to the next thing. The next big thing is probably the election in November. It was all fear mongering. It was all a lie. These prophecies of doom and gloom did not materialize because it was made up. It was a figment of their imagination. That's why I've been telling people days before the solar eclipse to be aware of these people, because it was going to happen. People love to, what's the word? Capitalize on fear. If it means sowing into their church or their ministry for a word from God to ease your anxiety, to soothe your feelings, to make it seem like everything's going to be okay because you're going to be caught up in the sky. You're going to be vanished in the twinkling of an eye. It was all made up. None of it was real. There are no prophets. They cannot predict anything. It's all in their head. It's all made up. It's all lies. It's fake. It's not real. So be very careful of these people when the next big event happens, which I said probably is the election. Beware of them. Remember this time. Remember the solar eclipse, so that the next big event, you don't get caught out there. You don't get fooled.